Part 38. Why are all of them passive skills? Author, Bulletin G. Bayet. Chapter 379. The first phase of the Pluto Crusade is completed. The front is left to other forces who are not present. The remaining three sides were divided between them. Three sides. From outer city to the front of Pluto is south. The remaining three sides are the north, west, and east. The remaining three sides are divided by all the forces present. As the person presiding over the meeting, the old president thought for a while and said, "Our Holy Light Chamber of Commerce and Outer Territory City will be responsible for the West." The old president said slowly, his eyes looking at the sword-holding half-saint at the back of the seat who had been silent. After the old president called his name, the half-saint holding the long knife suddenly stood up, laughing wildly on his originally expressionless face. "It's time to cause a scene." "Okay, don't worry about him." Then, the old president turned his attention to Li Yangtian and Hai Binghun, who were incompatible with each other, and sighed. "You definitely can't group these two people together. We can't let Li Yangtian lead these extraordinary forces, he will cause chaos. We cannot let Hai Binghun lead the extraordinary forces. Hai Binghun's understanding of foreigners is that they are just ants and servants, and they will do whatever they want. What should we do? There are only the last two positions left, how to divide them? After thinking about it for a while, I could only do this." The old president then said, "Let Li Yangtian, Hai Binghun, and Tagore go to the east. 3.5 saints, should they be fine?" Li Yangtian and Hai Binghun looked at each other and saw dissatisfaction in each other's eyes. "Being with this guy won't hold me back, right? I should be the one who said this, right?" "What? Say it again." "You are an unreasonable person, and it will be the same no matter how many times you say it." Tagore looked embarrassed and didn't know what to say. "Hope they won't mess around." At last. "Only the north is left, behind Pluto." The old president looked at the dean for the last time, and after a moment of silence he said, "Blue Star's 2nd Expeditionary Force, plus the extraordinary forces present, plus the gluttonous old man, will attack from behind. Is that okay?" Among Blue Star's 2nd Expeditionary Force, including the extraordinary forces present, only one is a half-saint, but if you add in the dowdy old man, there will be 2 semi-saints. The dean of the Demon Academy glanced at the drowsy old man and nodded slowly, "No problem. The rear is also the direction with the lowest risk, so even if it's just him, there will be no problem." "That's it, no problem. The direction to encircle and suppress Pluto has also been assigned. The forces responsible for facing the south are other forces that are not present. The people responsible for the west are the Holy Light Chamber of Commerce and the Outer Territory City. The half-saint is the old president and the half-saint holding a sword. The people responsible for the east are the Fire Demon Tribe, the Sea Royal Tribe and the Titan Tribe. The half-saints are Li Yangtian, Hai Binghun, and Tagore. The people responsible for the north behind are Blue Star and other extraordinary forces, and the half-saints are the dean of the Demon Academy and the gluttonous old man. The second phase of the Pluto Crusade is completed. Next, it's time. Finished in one go. Now, is everyone here okay?" "No problem." After calculating the time, the old president said, "From here to Pluto, if a large force moves forward, it will take about 2 months. Time waits for no one. Can we set off in 3 days? 3 days later, so urgent." After everyone thought for a moment, they all responded, "Can." "Oh well." The old president reached out and clicked on Pluto on the display screen, and said, "In that case, everyone please take care of everything within 3 days. In the morning 3 days later, we will set off together. When we are close to Pluto, we will start to spread out in 3 directions. By the way, we will rush the other forces on the 3 sides to the front. Is that okay?" "No problem." How to describe it? It's like a bunch of friends playing a game together, and you're punished when you're not there. It's done, right? Li Yangtian suddenly stood up and said impatiently, "It's over. I hate this kind of trouble the most." The old president nodded, "It's done, don't forget the time in 3 days." He and Li Yangtian are old acquaintances, so there is no need to be polite, and his strength is stronger than Li Yangtian. "Come on, let's go out and practice." Li Yangtian looked down at Hai Binghun, who was sitting on the chair, raised his thumb, pointed back at the door, and said horizontally, "Oh, I'm afraid you won't make it." Hai Binghun sneered and stood up very gracefully. Without looking at the blazing sky, he turned around and walked towards the door. "Is it done?" The gluttonous old man opened his sleepy eyes, not knowing whether he heard it or not. He stood up and left staggeringly. "Old man, I'll go find you in 2 days." The dean nodded, "Yes. The final action time is set in 3 days." Everyone left one after another. Tagore looked at the old president and said with a naive smile, "Brother, how about going out for a drink?" The old president said with a smile on his face, "Come with me, I have the strongest wine in the solar system." "That's great." Tagore looked delighted. His favorite thing was strong liquor. Just as the dean was about to take Jizukiu away, he heard a voice behind him. During the meeting, King Li, who had been silent all the time, walked to the dean's side, bowed respectfully and said, "Well, Mr. Permanent Director." He is also a director of Blue Star, but the dean is one level higher than him, a permanent director, one of the 5 most powerful people in the Blue Star Federation, and also his boss. "Oh? Xiao Li." The dean looked up and down at King Li, and a look of approval appeared on his somewhat vicissitudes of life face, saying, "Not bad, it seems that it won't be long before you can touch the threshold of the 3 disasters." "Thank you, Permanent Director." King Li said respectfully, "This action may be my opportunity." After saying that, he put his eyes on Jizukiu next to the dean, and showed the same expression when the dean looked at him. "This is the 109th director of the Federation, Jizukiu. He has entered the destiny at a young age. He is indeed a young talent and a human elite." Jizukiu faced the king of Li, just like a junior facing an elder, and replied neither servilely nor arrogantly, "Lord Li, you are too kind. Come to the king of Li City more often when you have time." "Okay, thank you Lord Li for inviting me." The dean and the king of Li exchanged a few words, then nodded and left. In a blink of an eye, the conference room was cleared, and everyone present left, returned to their own fleets, and then made arrangements for departure 3 days later. The meeting of the Pluto Crusade was over. The first and second stages are over, and the next stage is the third stage. The real crusade is about to begin. On the other side, Yejing and Zhao Danggong were bored in the living room of the Baiduxing station. So boring. So boring. Why are all of them passive skills? Author, Bulletin Ji Bayet. Chapter 380. Now, Yejing and Zhao Horizontal Bar had a very heated dispute. "No, no, no, I'm not going to Pluto. No, please must accompany me. As long as the 2 of us are perfect together, the Holy Land inheritance will definitely be ours. Stop dreaming. Do you know how dangerous that place is? Even in the transcendent realm, you can't stand a look from others. Now look at yourself. Are you worthy of a look from others? So this is our best chance to fish in troubled waters. Anyway, the creature on Pluto won't pay attention to little people like us. If that's the case, why don't we try hard? Aren't you afraid that when someone fights, they will kill us by the way?" Yejing expressed that he was very tired, holding his forehead with one hand and looking helpless. He had no intention of going to Pluto. It had nothing to do with courage, he just didn't want to die by himself. Any existence that is qualified to surround Pluto may not be able to see the extraordinary realm. Only semi-saints are qualified to stand in front of Pluto creatures. Look at the two of them again. They are in the underground palace realm, the destiny realm, the extraordinary realm, semi-saints, and suspected to be true saints. There are several big realms and dozens of small realms missing in the middle. What a nonsense! When people are fighting, any gust of wind can blow them thousands of miles away, and even lift their fingers and crush them into powder. What is this other than going to die? When Yejing came out of Blue Star, he had no intention of going to Pluto. His original plan was just to spread rumors about the ruins in the Star Sea, then casually walk around with a large army, and then return to Pluto after completing the mission. The mission is to spread false news about the true holy ruins and the inheritance of the holy realm in the Star Sea, and strive to attract more forces to Pluto. Now, he has roped in the Baidu Star pirates, and among them is Xiao Qinglian, who is related to the previous era. Although he is sorry, he sees that Wu Hongqiu is not a brainless person. It is estimated that after seeing the situation clearly, he will immediately pull away and leave. This is the style of a great pirate. His mission was completed and he was preparing to return to Blue Star after receiving the money from King Li. After Yejing revealed his plan, Zhao Xingbang was furious. Zhao Xiangbang looked at Yejing with a shocked face, with an unbelievable look in his eyes. You don't plan to go to Pluto with me? Yejing looked at Zhao horizontal bar with strange eyes. Why are you looking at me with such an expression? Is it normal not to go? No, no, no. Zhao Xingbang looked solemn and said with a serious face, how can this big gathering of the solar system be without you and me? Tell the truth. Yejing said, actually, it's the same with or without you. Don't take yourself so seriously. How could this happen? Zhao Xingbang said excitedly, this is a true holy relic. Aren't you tempted? As long as we get a little bit casually, the two of us will make it. At this point, Yejing had to tell the truth. Yejing looked at Zhao horizontal bar with flat eyes, and told the truth without expression. What true holy relics, what holy inheritance, etc. are all fake. They are all done by the Blue Star Federation in order to let more people go to Pluto to die. Just released fake news. Even I am the one delivering false news. I'm really sorry for deceiving you, but I don't feel guilty at all, and I still want to laugh. As soon as these two sentences came out, Zhao Xingbang was obviously stunned. His excited expression instantly solidified, and his originally bright eyes dimmed. Fake? Are you the one who lied? Zhao Xingbang said he did not accept the truth. No, this is the truth. Yejing said with a serious face. 1 second. 2 seconds. 3 seconds. How could this happen? A scream came from Zhao Hanban's mouth. Zhao Xingbang squatted on the ground with his head in his hands, a look of pain on his face. How could it be like this? Why is it fake? I obviously expected this. Just accept it. Yejing patted Zhao Xingbar's shoulder and comforted him. Get out. Zhao Xingbang slapped Yejing's hand down, stared at Yejing with red eyes, and said angrily, obviously you lied to me. You still have the nerve to say that. Broken off. Broken off. We're done. That's great. Yejing was slightly stunned at first, and then his face showed joy. I have long wanted to ask you, a troublemaker, to commit suicide? Good. Without further ado, Yejing grabbed the lapel of his clothes, pulled off a piece of cloth with a strong hand, and threw it on Zhao Xingbang's head. Cut off the robe and end the righteousness, and the severance of friendship is successful. After saying these words, Yejing turned around and left without any hesitation. He planned to pack up and return to Blue Star now to get out of this big quagmire. The remuneration owed by King Li would be asked for later by Blue Star. However, before he could take the second step, he couldn't walk anymore. Someone was grabbing him from behind. Let go. Yejing said expressionlessly. I don't. Let go. Cutting off our robes breaks our righteousness. Besides, we have no righteousness at all. We can't even be considered friends. I don't. What on earth do you want to do? Yejing turned around and said helplessly. After Zhao Xingbang stood up from the ground, he directly held Yejing's shoulders with his hands and said expectantly, "Come to Pluto with me." Are you crazy? Yejing looked shocked. Didn't I say there would be nothing without Pluto? Why do you still want to go? If you don't see it with your own eyes, how would you know if it's there? Zhao Xingbang said calmly, at least that creature that seems to be in the holy realm is not fake. You'd better come with me. Yejing refused and said, no way, you are going to die, don't hold me back, I want to go back to Blue Star. Just like that, the dispute began. After noisy for a long time, Yejing was moved by Zhao Xingbang's words and sat on the sofa again. Zhao Xingbang suggested, what do you think of this? I promise you, how about not entering Pluto and just wandering around? If you don't even enter Pluto, then why don't you go get some hair? Yejing asked. Just settle for the next best thing. A sinister smile appeared on Zhao Xingbang's face. If we don't go to Pluto, how about picking up corpses? Hiss. Yejing took a breath of air, his eyes widened, and he slowly sat on the sofa and said solemnly. Want to hear the details? Zhao Xingbang took out the golden shovel and expressed his thoughts. Since it's an interstellar war, there will definitely be countless casualties, right? Their treasures and storage equipment will definitely be lost in the Sea of Stars by then. If that's the case, it's better to let us collect them, don't you think? Yejing's face showed a look of contemplation. This seems to make sense. However, even getting close to Pluto is very dangerous. After all, isn't it still necessary to go? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Why are all of them passive skills? Author, Bulletin G. Bayet. Chapter 381. It was as if an angel and a demon were born in Yejing's mind. The angel advised him to pay attention to safety and return directly to Blue Star. The devil persuaded him to take the risk and give it a try, as there was no guarantee that he would die. No, no. I really can't commit suicide anymore. He puts himself in danger every day, but he is not a flirt and does not have that kind of special hobby. However, he was also a little hesitant and a little moved. Putting yourself on the line is dangerous, but the rewards are huge. Since he started practicing, he has never entered the underground palace realm. Although many things have happened, only half a year has passed. Such great progress in half a year is largely due to his hard work and struggle, and his determination to fight without fear of death. Only a small part, 1/1000th of the credit goes to the furnace. Moreover, he also had a premonition that he didn't know whether it was right or wrong. This premonition has always existed since leaving Blue Star. That is, the premonition of entering destiny. He felt that after his journey to the Sea of Stars, he would enter the realm of destiny. But now, we are still far away from the destiny realm, and the journey to the Star Sea is over. Is it really okay? Yejing was in a tangle. To go or not to go? This is a major issue. Someone once said that risk and reward coexist, and extreme risk equals extreme reward. After hesitating for a long time, Yejing suddenly asked, do you have any ideas? Tell me a few words. Seeing that Yejing relaxed and had a tendency to move, Zhao Xingbang continued, the two of us cooperate perfectly, as long as we are near Pluto, you use your ability to search for lost treasures and dead people's storage equipment, and then after giving me the location, I use the golden shovel to move across the space. Perfect. It's perfect. Also, the risk is lower. What's more, although he didn't know how many life-saving trump cards Zhao horizontal bar had, he himself was carrying several lives. In this case, Yejing made up his mind. Then, go. Go. After a long dispute, the two reached an agreement and hit it off. Yejing looked at the excited Zhao horizontal bar and sighed secretly in his heart. Why did I agree again? If you don't seek death, you won't die. Zhao Xingbang casually tore off the strip of cloth from Yejing's clothes, crumpled it into a ball, and threw it to an unknown place. My dear friends, move forward towards the future. Kill Hades. Let us be sanctified. Divide the solar system together. Yejing covered his face. Please don't sound so stupid. After the two reached an agreement, they both laughed. Just after they finished their discussion, they saw Wu Hongkai walking in from the door with a sad look on his face. Yejing asked curiously, What's wrong, Chief? Call me sister. Wu Hongkai slapped Yejing on the forehead and ordered. After finishing speaking, she casually sat on the sofa, rubbed her aching temples, and muttered, Really, a group of big bosses are having a meeting and they have to ask us to go too. What's the use? We're just listening. You don't even have the right to speak, disgusting. Damn it. The more he thought about the meeting just now, the more angry Wu Hongkai became, and he couldn't help but uttered a curse word, making his teeth itch with hatred. That dead fire block almost dragged us over and used it as cannon fodder. As expected, none of the creatures of the Fire Demon clan are good. If we see the Fire Demon clan's fleet again in the future, we must charge more. It seems that the world of adults is not easy to deal with either. Yejing asked, what was said at the meeting. He also heard about this big meeting, but unfortunately he was not qualified to attend and missed a good show. It's nothing. Wu Hongkai said casually, we just discussed the form of the encirclement and suppression campaign. Our extraordinary forces and the director of the Demon Academy of Blue Star will be responsible for the surprise attack from behind Pluto. By the way, we will leave in 3 days. Don't forget the time. Just stay in the house honestly for these 3 days. After Wu Hongkai finished speaking, he stretched and went upstairs to rest alone. 3 days later? Time is a bit tight. I don't know if King Li can pay off the money he owes them in the past 3 days. Now that the meeting is over, let's make a phone call and ask. Yejing grew thought, and then called Li Hui. What's the matter? I'm still very busy here. There were messy sounds from Li Hui's side, as if he was doing something. Yeah, it's nothing serious. Yejing hesitated and said, I just wanted to ask about the 400 million from King Liuc, he will leave in 3 days. I also need to buy some things to prepare. Do you think so? Oh. Li Hui suddenly realized that this was what happened. I know, there is a lot of money left in the auction, I will send it to you later. Marvelous. Yejing was delighted, then I'll trouble Uncle Li. It was said that it was a while, but after a night passed, they saw Li Hui. The next day, Li Hui personally sent 2 spirit stone cards and handed them to Yejing and Zhao horizontal bar respectively. Take it. This is a spiritual stone card issued by the Holy Light Chamber of Commerce. Each card has a deposit of 200 million. It can be used throughout the solar system. There is such a convenient thing? Then thank you, Uncle Li. Yejing thanked him calmly. It's okay, I'll leave first, there are still a lot of things to deal with over there. When Li Hui left, Yejing's originally calm expression suddenly turned red, his eyes shining and staring straight at the spirit stone card in his hand. His breathing was heavy, and his heart was beating wildly. His vision was a little messy. Damn. 200 million. This is a large amount he has never seen in his 2 lives. This is real spirit stones, this is real money. I am really rich. Yejing's hand holding the spirit stone card trembled. What can these 200 million do? It can make him draw passive skills until his hands are soft. It can make him buy a large amount of high-level energy, and then let the furnace evolve. It took more than half an hour for Yejing to calm down, and carefully put the Spirit Stone card into the storage ring. This Spirit Stone card is his life. Whoever moves will die. After Yejing recovered, he suddenly felt something was wrong. Huh? Why is it so quiet? Where is Zhao Danggong? Isn't he standing next to him? Yejing turned his head and looked at him, his face suddenly darkened. This guy, what a loser. Zhao Danggong had fainted on the ground without knowing when, holding the Spirit Stone card in his hand, shaking unconsciously. What a loser. Yejing bent down and reached out to grab the Spirit Stone card in Zhao Danggong's hand. Don't touch it. Suddenly, Zhao Danggong opened his eyes suddenly, holding the Spirit Stone card tightly with both hands, staring at Yejing like a vicious dog guarding food, and baring his teeth at Yejing from time to time. What a loser, isn't it just a little money? Yejing looked at Zhao Danggong with contempt, and directly forgot that he was stunned for half an hour. Why are all of them passive skills? Author, Bulletin Ji Bayet. Chapter 382. I opened my eyes and saw the darkness of this world. What is this place? Who I am? What am I going to do? What do I need to do? In front of him were endless ruins, with mountains of pale bones piled up. The black waste blood has dried up. On the high skeletal throne, I slowly stood up and looked at the ruins quietly, feeling at a loss. Who am I? Why am I here? Why is there an inexplicable sadness? I looked at my hands, only the blackened bones were left. Was this what I originally looked like? I guess so. Time is passing. When was the last time you woke up? A second ago? 10 seconds ago? It seemed like it was woken up by a swarm of ants. So noisy, so noisy, so noisy, so noisy, so noisy. Mess, 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 mess. Annoying, 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 annoying. Please don't disturb my slumber. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. I raised my hand. I opened my eyes. I stood up. The irritated voice was gone. The ants disappeared. I sat down, and the cold throne of bones was filled with loneliness. I closed my eyes again. Again. I woke up again. I won't sleep this time. Other side. In the distant sea of stars, a fleet composed entirely of scattered pioneers is slowly sailing towards Pluto. Wealth and opportunity are the motivations for their actions. The purple-haired young man was wearing a purple robe and looking into the distance of the sea of stars. I don't know how Yejing is doing. Gray murmured, he sighed, he felt so bored. If I had known that I would have contacted Yejing when Blue Star came out again, I wouldn't have just randomly found a fleet to go to Pluto. I am bored. I really want to cause trouble. So boring. I really want to die. Hey, I don't know where Yejing is. Wrong. Suddenly, Gray's face darkened. According to Yejing's thinking, he might not go to Pluto at all. No, not necessarily. As long as the reward is enough, he should go, right? Who arrived first? Or should I get there first? Gray was suddenly looking forward to it, so let's compare. Let's see who is more ruthless. Gray's fleet did not go to the outer city at all. Therefore, the child does not know. His current position is face to face of Pluto. That is the legendary cannon fodder position. Pray, sad child, I hope you can learn the truth before the encirclement and suppression war. Aboard the Crescent Imperial City Fleet. Loro Lampaluki was handsome and uninhibited, standing on the plywood of the main ship. He was wearing golden armor, holding a long sword upright, with the tip of the sword pointed at the ground, his eyes focused, looking at the endless starry sky. The journey of the Crescent Empire is a sea of stars. The time has come, and countless fleets from all directions in the Star Sea are heading towards Pluto. The next day, in Yejing's room, Yejing and Zhao Xingbang each held a spirit stone card in their hands, with solemn expressions on their faces, not knowing what they were thinking. Yejing rubbed his eyebrows and felt a little headache. How should I spend this large amount of money? Zhao Xingbang's face was a little gloomy, and he was very entangled and struggling. Should I spend it directly to improve my strength, or should I take it back to the nuggets? No, 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 the situation is critical now. Do you want to buy a high-level self-defense treasure? No, 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 the nuggets are very short of money right now. How about spending 5 million and bringing back 195 million? Zhao Xingbang had a sullen face and muttered to himself in a low voice, feeling very headache. What did you say? Yejing was stunned for a moment and became a little curious. No, it's nothing. Zhao Xingbang smiled awkwardly, then changed the subject and said, what are you going to do? We will set off in 3 days. Is it best to spend it first? I feel the same way. Yejing nodded in agreement. In 3 days. He needs to spend all the 200 million. Things that need to be purchased include higher energy sources, such as Omega sublight, sun essence, and even planet cores. Then upgrade the furnace to a level. The second is to extract skills. On these 2 points, he needs to spend 200 million. My God, $200 million are just gone. Yejing put one hand on his forehead and sighed. What's wrong? Zhao Xingbang pointed to the spirit stone card in his hand and asked, isn't this here? No. Yejing shook his head, it's gone. After eating in the morning, Xiao Qinglian held a piece of black gold from Wu Hongqiushang and chewed it in small mouths as usual. She didn't know if her cultivation had improved by eating like this. Yejing asked, I'm going to the Chamber of Commerce market in Holy Light City later. Do you want to go with me? Market? Xiao Qinglian was slightly startled. After she swallowed what was in her mouth, she shook her head gently, I don't want to go, and I don't have any money in my hand. Still. Xiao Qinglian's big eyes flickered at Yejing, are you going to buy me something to please me? I'm not a copper smelter, so what's the use of trying to please a little girl like you? Forget it, you just stay at home and be a hamster. Xiao Qinglian muttered with dissatisfaction, it's so rude. But I'm going. Xiao Qinglian said, thinking that if she didn't have money, the old Mandogui should have money, right? He should have a few 100 million or a dozen billion, right? If I like something, I can just ask the old man to buy it for me. Okay. Yejing shrugged his shoulders. After the preparations were completed, Yejing and Zhao Danggong took Xiao Qinglian out and walked towards the direction of Shengguang City. Maybe because there were many major events during this period, there were many people on the streets of Yawai City, which was messy and chaotic. Do you need to hold your hand? Don't get lost. Yejing stretched out a hand to Xiao Qinglian and said with a smile. Xiao Qinglian had a black line on her face and slapped Yejing's hand without hesitation. Get lost, I'm not a child. After a while, Yejing and the other two stood right below Shengguang City. After the auction, the Shengguang City market was officially opened. People came and went, hundreds and thousands of people headed towards Shengguang City. Below the Holy Light City, there were still people from the Chamber of Commerce checking. Please show your ID. The inspection team stopped Yejing and the other two. Show your ID? Yejing was slightly stunned. What identity does he have? Yejing glanced at Zhao Danggong, who shook his head, I am a person without an identity. Yejing looked at Xiao Qinglian again, who looked confused, what is the ID? Well, none of them work. I don't know if this will work. Yejing took out his ID from the storage ring. That was the student ID of the Demon Academy. Do you think this will work? Yejing handed the student ID to the inspection team. After the inspector took a look, he was stunned. Student ID? You use the student ID of the Blue Star Academy as your ID? Do you think it works? He was about to throw it back to Yejing, but suddenly saw the name of the academy. Demon City Academy. Okay, let him go. The dean of the Demon Academy is here, so it has to work. Why are all of them passive skills? Author, Bulletin G. Bayet. Chapter 383. The moment Xiao Qinglian boarded the Holy Light City ship, the gluttonous old man on the fourth floor of Holy Light City suddenly opened his eyes. Is she here? Suddenly, the gluttonous old man's whole body trembled, and a chill suddenly arose. It's obviously Xiao Qinglian who's here, but why do I feel uneasy? The first floor of Holy Light City is now open to everyone. The entire floor is full of people and stalls. Oh my god! A group of terrifying practitioners actually set up stalls like small vendors. It was really a strange feeling. Zhao Xingbang turned to look at Yejing and asked, "What do you want to buy?" "Buy some higher energy," Yejing said casually. In this place where fish and dragons are mixed, the spiritual energy emanating from the human body and the terrifying aura of higher energy are intertwined. He could feel the aura of higher energy coming from all directions. Zhao Xingbang was stunned for a moment and looked at Yejing in surprise. Why would you buy something like that? Yejing couldn't say it directly, so he looked away. It will be useful for a little bit. And you? I don't know either, I just took a look. Then let's split up. Yejing said that spending hundreds of millions of spiritual stones to buy useless high-level energy might cause unnecessary misunderstandings, so he should go it alone. To be honest, it would be ridiculous for someone like him in the underground palace realm to use hundreds of millions of spirit stones to buy high-grade energy. Oh well. Zhao Xingbang didn't ask any questions and walked into the crowd by himself. Then will you follow me? Xiao Qinglian. After setting aside Zhao's horizontal bar, Yejing lowered his head and looked to his side. Then. Damn it! Where is Xiao Qinglian? Xiao Qinglian, who was originally beside him, suddenly disappeared. But he was only slightly surprised and then calmed down. Well, it doesn't matter anymore. There's no need to worry about anyone, but Xiao Qinglian. After all, they are many times stronger than him. What's more, there's old man Dowdy here, so there's no need to worry. Now that he was the only one left, it was much easier to move around. Yejing said, walking towards the direction of the breath of some kind of high-level energy. After all, it is a high-level energy source, but the first choice is Omega Sublight. After all, Omega Sublight has extremely strong lethality and can greatly improve the energy bar of the furnace. I don't know if 100 million can make the furnace evolve. On the first floor of the huge Holy Light City, Yejing felt the familiar and frightening aura after walking for a while. Found it, Omega Sublight. Yejing squeezed through the crowd and walked to the stall selling Omega Light. It's said to be a stall, but it doesn't look like it at all. It was a mysterious man wrapped in a black robe, with no intention of revealing his identity. There were rows of mysterious objects in front of him, and they were still floating in the air. The surroundings of each object were protected by spiritual energy. Hello, do you have Omega Light here? Yejing asked politely. Have. A hoarse voice came from under the black robe. Yejing said, which one? Can you show it to me? He could only feel that there was Omega Sublight in these things, but it was blocked by spiritual energy, so he didn't know which one it was. You want to buy it? The man in black robe asked instead without taking action. Yejing nodded. Oh. A mocking laugh came from under the black robe. Boy, are you kidding me? It's just an underground palace, what's the use of Omega Light? I only have the underground palace realm, so sorry for you. Yejing's face darkened. I'm the buyer, you don't care about me. No, I'm just curious if you have the financial resources to buy it. I really look down on people. Yejing twitched the corner of his mouth, took out the spirit stone card, and clicked it towards the man in black robe. A phantom appeared from the spirit stone card, with a large number of zeros on it. Oh, he's still a little rich guy. After seeing the numbers, the man in black robe couldn't help but his eyes lit up. He thought of the various forces that had appeared in the outer city recently, and thought that Yejing was also a junior of a certain force who was brought out for training. Oh well. The man in black robe casually picked at the pile of items in front of him, and a circle wrapped in spiritual energy flew out from it and landed in front of Yejing. 1 foot of Omega sublight is priced at 30 million. It is the market price and will not be reduced. 1 foot capacity. 30 million. So expensive. But this is really the normal price. Last year, he obtained about 4 feet of Omegan light from small planet fragments, which is almost 100 million. Now with this 1 foot capacity, the price of 30 million is a normal price. It is indeed the top luxury jewelry in the solar system. Yejing gritted his teeth, held back his heartache, and said, I bought it. Generous and refreshing. As expected of the elite of a powerful force. After the man in black robe praised, he took out his spirit stone card from under the black robe. Transfer the money. There was a ding. His spirit stone card was missing 30 million, and the opponent's spirit stone card was 30 million more. So expensive. After the transfer was successful, the man in black robe threw the 1 foot Omega light protected by spiritual energy to Yejing. Deal done. Yejing nodded, turned, and left. In Holy Light City, no one dares to cause trouble. After leaving, Yejing randomly found a corner and entered the furnace space. He first wanted to see how much energy this foot of Omega sublight could add to the furnace's energy bar. There were 2 energy bars directly below the furnace. One used spiritual energy. When the energy bar was full, the furnace would upgrade and unlock an unknown ability. The other used high-level energy. When the energy bar was full, the furnace would evolve. He had only evolved once, and he didn't know what would happen after the second evolution. There was only a little energy in the second energy bar now. 30 million, it was gone soon. Yejing threw a foot of Omega sublight into the furnace space. High-level energy detected, whether to absorb. Absorb. My heart hurts. In a blink of an eye, a foot of Omega sublight turned into a ray of light and flowed into the furnace. 30 million was gone just like that. With the influx of high-level energy, a little bit of energy leaked out and entered Yejing's body. Oh! This feeling is so good. Unconsciously, Yejing showed a look of satisfaction. The 7th level of the underground palace realm. As expected, cultivation is not only about one's own efforts, but also depends on the golden finger. It is about 99% of the efforts, plus 1% of the golden finger. In less than a minute, the Omega sublight was absorbed by the furnace. Yejing curiously looked at the second energy bar of the furnace, and couldn't help showing a disappointed expression. So little. It only increased the remaining 1/4. In other words, 3 feet of Omega sublight are needed for the furnace to evolve. Another 90 million. Yejing sighed, 200 million spirit stones, and they were gone in a blink of an eye. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Why are all of them passive skills? Author, Bulletin G. Bayet. Chapter 384. The 4th floor of Holy Light City. In the room of the gluttonous old man. Are these enough to eat? The gluttonous old man held dozens of kilograms of obsidian in his arms and placed it gently in front of Xiao Qinglian. Just so. Xiao Qinglian grabbed a piece of obsidian and stuffed it into her mouth. Crunch. So, what's so delicious about this kind of stone? The gluttonous old man sat opposite Xiao Qinglian, looking at Xiao Qinglian, who looked satisfied, and murmured in a low voice. He never eats this kind of tasteless energy stone, which is hard and unpalatable. He usually eats meat. The meat of various monsters, whether it is cooked meat or raw meat, whether it is barbecued or fried, it feels better than this. Planting stones is delicious. What do you know, you tasteless old man? Xiao Qinglian puffed up her cheeks and said with dissatisfaction on her face. She just likes to eat energy stones. That kind of completely pure energy makes her feel comfortable. Whether it is mithril, black gold, or obsidian, this kind of stone formed entirely from energy is clean and pure, and is completely incomparable with a body of rotting waste meat. Even though he said that, the gluttonous old man wanted to share his food hobby with Xiao Qinglian. Thinking about it, he took out a fat and huge monster leg from somewhere, and it was already roasted, and handed it to Xiao Qinglian. This is the right leg of the extraordinary magical beast King Tianhu. How about you try it? The gluttonous old man was like offering a treasure. Xiao Qinglian first smelled the fat right leg, and a look of disgust appeared on her face. She waved her hands repeatedly, take it away quickly. I am a herbivorous plant. It's really delicious. After the gluttonous old man muttered something, he started chewing heavily. Just like that, the two foodies started eating at each other. A few minutes later, Xiao Qinglian suddenly said, "Do you have any money? Give me some." She was not polite, she didn't ask for it, she just asked for it, making the gluttonous old man look like her grandfather. The gluttonous old man was slightly startled. How much do you want? Xiao Qinglian thought for a while and said, 1 billion. The gluttonous old man, No. Does my family have a spiritual stone mine? How could I have such a spiritual stone? Not even a billion. Xiao Qinglian's face was full of disbelief. Aren't you still a domineering semi-saint glutton? Why don't you even have 1 billion? After living for 2 eras, you don't even have 1 billion in hand? This can no longer be described as the Moonlight Clan. The gluttonous old man smiled bitterly and said, I don't use spiritual stones. I have never saved them at all. If I have some spiritual stones in my hand, I will exchange them for food. How childish! Xiao Qinglian sighed and said angrily, then how much do you have? 300,000. Xiao Qinglian, You'd better eat your thigh meat. I'm so sorry for being so poor. The gluttonous old man ate the Qingtian tiger leg meat, bite after bite, down his throat and into his stomach. Suddenly, an indescribable severe pain radiated from his stomach and instantly spread throughout his body. It hurts. The gluttonous old man had a ferocious face and cold sweat dripping from his head. He subconsciously covered his stomach and squeezed it hard. Hey, what's wrong with you? Seeing the pain and paleness on old Mandahan's face, Xiao Qinglian couldn't help but change her expression slightly, and rushed to old Mandahan's side, anxiously saying, Hey, are you okay? His pain. My internal organs felt as if they were about to be torn apart. After a few minutes of slowing down, the gluttonous old man forced out a sentence, No, it's an old problem. Where? Is it the stomach? Although Xiao Qinglian didn't know what was wrong with the old man, she saw that the old man was holding his stomach hard, as if he was trying to pull it out of his body. Bear it. Xiao Qinglian, who was a little flustered, calmed down. She stretched out a white, tender, and clean hand and pressed it on the stomach of the old man. Then, green light radiated from her palm, gently, warmly, and very comfortable. The bright light full of natural flavor slowly flowed into the stomach of the gluttonous old man. A healing breath. The bright light flickered, and the original severe pain gradually subsided, and the doughty old man's expression also softened. This is Xiao Qinglian's natal breath, which has extremely strong healing and restorative abilities. However, this kind of healing power is not very effective for the doughty old man. It can only relieve the pain, but cannot cure it at all. While Xiao Qinglian was treating old man Daoshan, she worriedly asked, "Is there something wrong with your health?" The gluttonous old man breathed a long sigh of relief and said, "Well, it's been an old problem since the last era." He sighed secretly in his heart, knowing that he was already dying. If he did not step into the Holy Realm, his life would end. And this time, going to Pluto is his last chance. It's done, he is the only true saint in the solar system. If he loses, he will be the first half-saint to fall in the solar system. It's just so cruel. Xiao Qinglian hesitated for a moment and then asked, "Can't you cure this?" "It can't be cured." The gluttonous old man said with a bitter look on his face, "I once went to find the world tree and asked for a main branch, but it only relieved me for a few years. Is the main branch of the world tree useful?" Xiao Qinglian was slightly startled, but where could she find the main branch of the world tree now? She looked at the old Mandogui, who was in pain, and thought about the decisive battle that would take place soon. She bit her silver teeth and made up her mind secretly. Unconsciously, Xiao Qinglian exuded a warm green light all over her body, which was brilliant and dazzling. A green lotus leaf slowly emerged above her head. The lotus leaf was not big, only half the size of a palm. The green lotus leaf was wrapped in shining green light and slowly fell into Xiao Qinglian's white and tender palm. This was a lotus leaf from her original body, Qinglian, which had the super strong effect of resurrecting people and bringing them back to life. This was also the first time she had taken a lotus leaf from her original body. This feeling was really uncomfortable. Xiao Qinglian's face was pale and bloodless, very bleak, and even her spirit and energy were dimmed. "Eat it." Xiao Qinglian handed the lotus leaf to the old Mandogui and said weakly. "This." The old Mandogui looked at the lotus leaf in front of him, and then looked at the weak Xiao Qinglian, and was speechless. Xiao Qinglian's lotus leaves are not like the branches of the world tree, they are very rare, and the lotus leaves are connected to the heart. The branches of the world tree have tens of millions, but Xiao Qinglian's lotus leaves are only a dozen. This time, a lotus leaf was pulled off by force, which seriously hurt Xiao Qinglian's vitality. "Humph, don't look at me with that expression, I just don't want my acquaintance to die so early." Xiao Qinglian was a little uncomfortable with the look of the old Mandogui, and turned her head away with a slightly red face. Why are all of them passive skills? Author, Bulletin G. Bayet. Chapter 385. I don't know if I can make it to Pluto. After thanking Xiao Qinglian, the old Mandaji took the lotus leaf and ate it. A warm current and fresh breath flowed down his throat into his stomach, and slowly, his severe stomach pain stopped. The injuries on his body were suppressed by Xiao Qinglian's lotus leaf. "I'm fine, are you okay?" After taking a breath, the old Mandaji looked at the weak Xiao Qinglian and said worriedly. "It's okay." Xiao Qinglian endured the discomfort in her body and shook her head. "I'll be fine after a rest also, give me some high-level energy, I need to replenish it." She thought she had lost a lot. She came to Shengguang City to ask the old Mandaji for money, but she didn't get the money, but lost a lotus leaf. It's a big loss. Without dozens of units of high-level energy, it can't be replenished. Yes, wait, I'll get it right away." Old Mandogui nodded repeatedly, and flashed out of the room, going directly to the treasure house of the Holy Light Chamber of Commerce to get high-grade energy. As a guest invited by the Holy Light Chamber of Commerce, he would have no problem even if he emptied all the high-grade energy here. Xiao Qinglian helped old Mandogui, and now it was his turn to help Xiao Qinglian. Until arriving at Pluto. On the other side, Yejing looked at the energy bar at the bottom of the furnace with a sad face, feeling very uncomfortable. It still needs 3 feet of omega sublight, which is 90 million spirit stones. My god. Just to evolve the furnace, it takes 120 million spirit stones. It's really a gold-eating artifact. Moreover, when the furnace evolves, he has to keep the spirit stones to draw skills. If he unlocks new functions, he has to try new functions. These are all energies that need spirit stones to transform. My god. 200 million spirit stones, won't they all be spent today? Heartache, heart-wrenching, suffocating pain. Spent 200 million in one day. When did I become so extravagant? After a long silence, he sighed. Forget it, let's upgrade the furnace first. Yejing suppressed his heartache and began to look for high-level energy in the Holy Light City market. It is not so easy to find high-level energy or omega sublight at a suitable price. He almost went around the entire Holy Light layer before he bought enough high-level energy to evolve the furnace. 120 million, spent. Yejing's originally good mood also disappeared with the disappearance of the 120 million. It turns out that the feeling of spending money is also so uncomfortable, especially spending your own money. There is enough high-level energy, and the next step is to evolve the furnace. After looking at the market where people come and go, Yejing went to the second floor. Yejing said to the second floor manager, "Excuse me, can you rent me a room?" The manager looked at Yejing and said casually, 100,000 a day. What a rip-off. This is dozens of times more expensive than an ordinary hotel. Yejing paid 100,000 spirit stones with a black face. Rent a small room. The next step is to throw all the high-level energy into the furnace. Yejing sat on the bed and entered the furnace space. Following Yejing's guidance, several super lights flowed into the furnace. The long light dragged a long tail and turned into an endless river. As the high-level energy flowed and the furnace absorbed it, his body also changed. The suddenly surging spiritual energy and the unexpectedly lost high-level energy all poured into Yejing's body, washing and expanding his Tianling Hai. This feeling, I have to say, is really cool. Absorbing layer by layer. 8th level of the underground palace realm. 9th level of the underground palace realm. Why do I feel that realm is useless? Finally, after raising the spiritual energy in his body by nearly half, he barely stopped. The leakage of 120 million high-level energy raised his realm to the 9th level of the underground palace realm, and he was only one step away from the destiny realm. This flying feeling is so cool. This feeling of being rich is so cool. He thought that if he used the remaining 80 million to buy high-level energy and sacrificed it to the furnace in one go, he might be in the destiny realm. No. 80 million just to upgrade to the destiny realm is too expensive. Hold it. At this moment, an electronic sound rang in his mind. The advanced energy bar of the furnace is full, and it will start evolving now. The evolution countdown is 1 hour. 59 minutes. 58 minutes. 1 minute. 1 second. An hour passed in a flash. When an hour passed, the broken and scarred furnace began to change again. The bronze lacquer on the mysterious furnace began to fall off. Thousands of lights shone out from the furnace, and layers of flames wrapped the furnace deeply, and the blazing flames burned fiercely. As the furnace changed, the entire furnace space began to tremble violently. What happened? Yejing's face changed drastically, his pupils shrank, and he stared at the furnace that began to change. The blazing flame seemed to resmelt the furnace, melting all the scars on the surface of the furnace, and disappeared with the passage of time. The action was very fast. After just a few seconds, the flames comparable to the scorching sun subsided. A brand new furnace was revealed. The furnace, which was originally covered with scars of time, now has a brand new look. The dark bronze surface has also turned into a brilliant bronze color. The broken Holy Spirit has recovered its shape, and the creatures carved on the surface seem to be alive, lifelike. Thousands of mountains and rivers, this furnace is like 3,000 worlds. This is a brand new furnace. Contains 3,000 worlds. Furnace evolution completed. Furnace recast completed. Furnace unlocks new function, superposition. Superposition, repeat the same items, note, anything can be superimposed. Finally, it's done. Yejing's heart was shocked, and he couldn't help showing a happy expression on his face. The second evolution of the furnace has undergone tremendous changes. He didn't look at the new function at first glance. Instead, he put his sights on the latest extraction, which is the core function of the furnace and the function he uses most. Let me see what extraction has become. But it should be more expensive. Yejing, feeling uneasy, gently clicked on the extract interface. Primary passive skill probability, 60%. Intermediate passive skill probability, 20%. Advanced passive skill probability, 15%. Extraordinary passive skill probability, 3%. Extraordinary and passive skill probability, 1.9%. Abyssal passive skill probability, 0.1%. Appeared. Yejing smiled, almost laughed out loud. Last time, he only drew extraordinary and passive, but there was no display probability. But now, extraordinary and passive skill probability appeared. Not only that, even abyssal passive appeared. Why are all of them passive skills? Author, Bulletin G. Bayet. Chapter 386. He has a super and passive skill. Abyss power, attacks ignore defense, ignore realm, absolute damage, absolutely fierce. This is his most ruthless passive skill, and it is also his reliance on cross-level challenges. He didn't know what level the abyss level passive skill was. But this was the second time he had seen the word abyss. Yejing stared at the word abyss with a strange glow in his pupils. The abyss power can ignore any realm and forcibly cause damage to creatures. Even a person like him in the underground palace realm can probably overturn a half-saint. This kind of power is simply illegal in the solar system. It can even be said that it is a power that does not belong to the solar system at all. In the solar system, the most powerful and mysterious power is the Omega power. And the Omega power also comes from outside the solar system. However, even the Omega beam that penetrates the entire solar system cannot ignore multiple realms and cause real damage to creatures. But the Abyss power can. What does this mean? This means that the power of the Abyss is higher than the power level of the Omega beam. Oh my goodness! The Omega beam can penetrate the entire solar system, so what if it is replaced by the power of the Abyss? Wouldn't it be able to penetrate the entire universe? Terrible, terrible. In his deep impression, he even had a premonition. Outside the solar system, there is the Abyss. No, no. Yejing hurriedly pushed the idea in his mind away. This is not something he can think about now. Since the passive skills of the extraordinary and are so fierce. What about the Abyss level passive? Yejing said, his eyes shining, ready to move. Since there are still 80 million spirit stones, Yejing hesitated for a while and directly exchanged 50 million spirit stones for furnace energy. 50 million energy. What a big deal. Unconsciously, 2 lines of blood and tears suddenly appeared in Yejing's pupils. He did not rush to extract skills first, but set his sights on the newly unlocked function. Superposition. Superposition state. Superposition, superimpose duplicate identical items. Note, anything can be superimposed. As Yejing clicked, a seemingly empty, twisted space circle appeared in front of him. How should this thing be used? Yejing frowned and thought about it. According to the most common understanding, Superposition is to superimpose two identical items together. Will new items be produced? This is similar to synthesis and combination in another way, but it is different. Thinking about it, Yejing casually took out two spirit stones from the storage ring and threw them into the superposition space. Superposition, spirit stone. Quantity, 2. Do you consume 10,000 energy for superposition? 2 spirit stones. Consume 10,000 spirit stones. Why do I feel so bad? Yes. Just after Yejing gave the order. Non-identical items, superposition failed. Failed. Yejing was stunned. What happened? They are all spirit stones, why did the superposition fail? Is there a difference between spirit stones? The two spiritual stones he threw into the superposition space were spit out by the superposition space again. Yejing held the two spiritual stones in his right and left hands respectively and observed them carefully. What is the difference between spiritual stones? After watching for more than 10 seconds, Yejing found the difference. The fine lines on the surface of the two spiritual stones are different. They are both spiritual stones, but their appearance or interior are different. So that's it? Yejing suddenly realized that this kind of thing is also different. Two completely identical items must be superimposed. But where can I find completely identical things? Yejing frowned and thought about his possessions. Are there any two completely identical things? Spiritual stone? Black gold? Obsidian? None of them. Damn it. Yejing scratched the back of his head and felt a bit overwhelmed. Besides, are there any two completely identical things in this world? Isn't there a saying? There are no two completely identical leaves in a world. Exactly the same. Exactly the same. There is nothing in this world. What about things that do not belong to this world? Yejing's eyes suddenly lit up and he thought of something. He remembered that there were dozens of duplicates in his passive skills. Dozens of low-level bleeding. Dozens of double attack. Dozens of low-level poisoning. And so on. These are all repeated many times. They should be exactly the same, right? But how to take out the passive skills and move them to the superposition space? By the way, where should the passive skills be placed? He only vaguely remembered that he had duplicate passive skills, but he didn't know where to put them at all, and there was not even a skill bar. What should I do? Yejing suddenly stretched out his finger and clicked into the superposition space. Do you want to add it? Yes. Please add items. Yejing closed his eyes slightly and imagined it in his mind. Low-level bleeding. Then, an icon that looked like a drop of blood suddenly entered the superposition space. It works. Yejing's heart was shocked and he continued to think silently in his mind. Low-level bleeding, low-level bleeding, low-level bleeding, low-level bleeding. After calling dozens of times in one breath. Stopped suddenly. Items exhausted. Then, Yejing turned his attention to the overlay space. A small number was displayed in the lower right corner of the blood icon. 53. Low-level bleeding was superimposed 53 times. What kind of things can be superimposed on this kind of thing? Superposition, low-level bleeding. Quantity, 53. Whether to consume 530,000 energy for superposition. Hiss. Yejing's eyes widened and he took a breath of air. 530,000 energy. 530,000 spiritual stones. Isn't it true that spiritual stones are money? Yejing gritted his teeth. Yes. Overlaying. Following Yejing's instructions, the superimposed space showing a circular frame of nothingness suddenly began to rotate. Turning faster and faster. Turning faster and faster. During the rotation of the superposition space, the number mark in the lower right corner of low-level bleeding began to slowly decrease. 53. 43. 13. 3. 2. 1. Superposition completed. Out. The superimposed space slowly stopped rotating. An icon of a drop of crimson blood appeared in the superimposed space. Yejing reached out and clicked on the icon. This was his new passive skill. Bleeding, max, the highest level. Your attack has a 100% chance of causing bleeding to the enemy, causing damage equal to 10% of the total health within 100 seconds, and cannot be healed. It cannot be caused a second time in one day. Yejing. Shock. Shock. Earth-shattering. Is this still the passive skill that is so rubbish that it can't even be triggered? Is this still the passive skill that doesn't help him now? This is in. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Why are all of them passive skills? Author, Bulletin G. Bayet. Chapter 387. Max equals maximum, equals limit. The original passive skill low-level bleeding was upgraded to maximum bleeding after 53 superpositions. The original probability of only 10% was also increased to 100%, that is, as long as his attack can hit the enemy's body, it will definitely cause bleeding. And the new bleeding state has also become stronger. Before, it was only 10% of the enemy's current health. And now it is 10% of the enemy's total health. Isn't this too buggy? Suppose the enemy's health is digitized. An enemy has 10,000 health points, and his current health is only 1,000. The old version of bleeding can only cause 100 points of damage. But the new version of bleeding can cause 1,000 points of damage. And, a certain original limitation also disappeared. Now, even if he faces a creature that is one level higher than him, he can cause bleeding. Wow, this superposition function is quite interesting. Yejing couldn't help muttering, his eyes shining, and he put his sights on the superposition space again. It seems that I have several passive skills, and I have a lot. For example, double attack. After Yejing opened the superposition space, he silently chanted in his heart. Double attack, double attack, double attack. He kept chanting until he heard the prompt sound. He looked at the lower right corner of the icon in the superposition space. 47. Superposition, double attack. Amount, 47. Do you consume 470,000 energy to perform superposition? Yes. The superposition space began to rotate. 3. 2. 1. Superposition completed. New double attack. What is it? Double attack, max, the highest level. Your first attack on each enemy will cause 5 times the damage. You cannot cause the same target a second time within 100 attacks. Changed. All changed. This feeling. So cool. Yejing's face was almost twitching with laughter after seeing the new double attack. This time, the furnace evolution is too profitable, right? It's a big profit. The new function completely makes use of waste. What was the original double attack? There was a 10% chance of causing triple damage. And now, the first attack on each enemy is 5 times the damage. This time, not only is the probability gone, but even the multiplier of the double attack has been increased. Although the limit is that it cannot be caused a second time within 100 attacks. However, perhaps for a person like him who has a bad face, the probability of triggering has increased. In addition to bleeding and double attack, he also has a passive skill with many. Low-level poisoning. This is the most passive skill he has ever seen. The last time. Yejing opened the superposition space again. He recited silently in his heart. Low-level poisoning, low-level poisoning, low-level poisoning. Although there are many low-level poisonings, he only recited it 50 times and then stopped. 50 times should be able to increase the passive skill to max. Reciting it once more is 10,000 energy, which is not worth playing with. The superposition space rotated again. 3, 2, 1. Poison, max, the highest level. Your attack has a 100% chance of poisoning the enemy, causing 10% of the total HP to the enemy within 100 seconds, and during the duration, the healing state is prohibited. Cannot be caused a second time within a day. Another absolute value of 10% damage. Yejing's face was delighted. With these two passive skills, he could kill 20% of the enemy's HP before starting. A lot. Yejing laughed. In the empty furnace space, he laughed for several minutes before slowly stopping. For the first time, he felt that repeatedly extracting passive skills was not a waste of energy. After using superposition 3 times, Yejing understood how to use this function. Although the consumption is huge, it must be said that this function is very powerful. After spending a little energy, there is still nearly 50 million spirit stones in the furnace. The next is the highlight. Whether he can survive safely on Pluto depends on this wave of extraction skills. Going to Pluto is too dangerous. He needs to maximize his strength before reaching Pluto to ensure his life safety, or get some passive skills to save his life, at least to make him feel at ease. He now has only 3 passive skills that can save his life. First, Orphan's Way, a protective shield of a blood bar, although it is a super protective skill, but it is not enough in front of the big boss, who can kill 2 of its lives with 1 move. Second, Super Physique, when his vitality is dying, it will quickly recover to normal state, which is also very strong, but, in the same way, the big boss will not be able to use his super physique and he will die. Third, War of Sorrow, will offset a fatal injury, which is his last life-saving trump card, but it is only once. The road to Pluto is full of dangers. It's not that he is cowardly, but he is afraid of death. 50 million energy, I hope to get a few life-saving passive skills. Yejing began to pray to God. No. God is dead. Let's pray to the goddess of luck. Busily, Yejing opened the drawer. The latest big turntable. This time, in the newly repaired furnace, the lucky big turntable finally restored the 100% extraction probability. It used to make him very uncomfortable. The original probability was 116%. And now, it is 100%. What makes him happy most is that there is no blank position on the new turntable, and the lowest is the low-level passive. In this way, there is no need to waste spirit stones. In the turntable, in addition to the huge blank space and the dazzling gold, there is also a very faint black. This should be the legendary Abyss level passive. Awesome, 50 million spirit stones, dare to let me see what the Abyss passive is like. Yejing opened the big turntable with a nervous heart. Do you want to consume 1 million energy and make 10 consecutive draws? Oh, now you can only make 1 million energy and 100 consecutive draws? That's right, this is more efficient. Yejing didn't react yet, and only reacted when his fingers turned on the turntable. Wait. 1 million energy, 10 consecutive draws. What's going on? Yejing covered his head. How much did it consume before the evolution? How many times has it increased? Oh my god. Furnace, you are getting more and more naughty now, starting to consume energy. Blood and tears flowed uncontrollably in Yejing's eyes. I'll turn. Yejing gritted his teeth and said to himself. Do you want to consume 10 million energy and make 100 consecutive draws? No no no. 10 consecutive draws will be fine. 10 million energy in one breath, too exciting, I can't afford it. Finally, the turntable, which had been stagnant for a long time, started to turn again. The high consumption 10 consecutive draws began. If these 50 million energy really can't draw anything, he might really be able to smash the furnace. Why are all of them passive skills? Author, Bulletin G Bayet. Chapter 388. With the evolution and development of the furnace, the energy consumption of spiritual stones is gradually increasing. Now it is consumed in the hundreds of thousands or millions. Perhaps in the future, the furnace will not even eat spiritual stones. Change to eat higher energy. When the time comes, let's see who can afford to support him. In order to maintain such a furnace, Yejing threw more than 90% of his income into the furnace. Not to mention luxuries, he didn't even have high-level secret treasures. Let's see what happens. Even the roulette wheel that is spinning now may have been transformed by the furnace. I don't know what its reality is. Yejing once thought that the big turntable in front of him might even be a figment of his own imagination and did not exist at all. The real situation should be that after he consumed the energy, the furnace randomly threw out its own storage from its own internal space and gave it to Yejing to form a transaction. Thinking like this, Yejing couldn't help but look at the huge furnace in the space with strange eyes. Would it be better to just smash it? I don't know if the furnace saw through Yejing's thoughts. The huge bronze shell trembled slightly, maybe because of panic. The wheel spins. In extracting skills, obtain advanced passive skills, meditation. In extracting skills, obtain low-level passive skills, paralysis. In extracting skills, obtain low-level passive skills, petrification. No more. Yejing's heart trembled. He drew an advanced passive skill 10 times in a row. Is this a guarantee? Or has the probability indeed increased? However, just looking at it makes me happy. Well, although he can't use most of the passive skills, thinking about it, he has even fought less times along the way. Meditation, advanced passive, in panic and other heartbeat situations, forcefully enter a state of meditation and return to normal. This is forced calm. Yejing was speechless. Thinking about it, I didn't feel flustered at all. What is calmness? I thought of pouring cold water on my own chicken, wouldn't it also force me to calm down? Complete. However, after 10 consecutive strokes, Yejing still felt that 100 consecutive strokes would be even better. 100 consecutive draws, 10 million energy, 10 million spirit stones. Quick victory. Blood and tears are still flowing. Whether to consume 10 million energy and perform 100 consecutive draws. Yes. The big turntable spins rapidly. During the extraction of skills, the low-level passive skill bleeding is obtained. During the extraction of skills, obtain the intermediate passive skill anti-armor. In extracting skills, obtain extraordinary passive skills to reverse counterattack. 1. During the extraction of skills, obtain advanced passive skills to counterattack the storm. 70 times. 80 times. 90 times. 100 times. 1 is extraordinary, several are advanced. And there are a lot of them that are unused. Yejing sighed. He really didn't know what to buy with spirit stones. Let's look at them one by one. Anti-armor, intermediate level, every time it is attacked, it will reflect 10% of the damage received from the attack. Now, do I even wear anti-armor? Well, let's just use it. With anti-armor, no matter what kind of attack he receives, he has the ability to slap the opponent back. Although it is the opponent's attack. Counterattack storm, when receiving a melee attack, there will be a certain chance to activate the counterattack storm, ignoring all physical attacks, lasting for 2 seconds, and after the counterattack storm ends, it will cause a 1-second mental shock to enemies within a 3-meter radius. What a good thing! Yejing's eyes lit up. When fighting an enemy in close combat, once the counterattack storm is activated, any of its attacks will be ignored. Isn't this a state of invincibility? And after it ends, it can also cause a 1-second mental impact. Although it only takes 1 second, under any circumstances, 1 second can decide a lot of things. For example, life and death. Counterattack storm is very strong though. But the restrictions are also very large. 1. It will only be triggered in melee combat. 2. Only physical attacks will trigger. But it's not bad, it's more than you want. The last one. That is the highlight. Reversal counterattack, extraordinary level passive. When being attacked by an irresistible attack, there is a certain chance that a reverse counterattack will be triggered, ignoring the attack and counterattacking immediately. Yejing. I don't understand. Immediate counterattack, in what form? Wouldn't an irresistible attack cause another fatal injury? Forget it, when you have the opportunity to trigger it in the future, you will know what it is like. Hurry up. Yejing murmured that he couldn't stay here for too long. After all, it was not his home, it was just a lounge in Holy Light City. Whether to consume 10 million energy and perform 100 consecutive draws? Yes. During the extraction of skills, obtain the intermediate passive skill, Bloodshed. In extracting skills, obtain advanced passive skills, God of War Fury. During the extraction of skills, obtain intermediate passive skills, Blood-Sucking. 50 times. 90 times. Just when Yejing thought that these 10 million energy would be wasted. Just when his heart was about to hit rock bottom. A dazzling golden light blinded Yejing's eyes. This kind of light is not like the golden light of the extraordinary level passive. Instead, it shines brighter. This is extraordinary plus. Yejing's eyes, which had dimmed, lit up again. Words come true, extraordinary plus. When releasing spiritual power, any words you say will be accompanied by spiritual power fluctuations, and any command will be enforced on creatures 2 realms lower than the host creatures of the same realm and 1 realm lower than you will have a chance to execute it, and it will be invalid for enemies 1 realm higher than you. Yejing. What is this? What kind of passive skill is this? Why do I feel a little bit of a ghost? A picture suddenly appeared in Yejing's mind. He faced 10 different beauties without realms, queens, and Lolita, and said that sentence after releasing spiritual power. Please take off all your clothes. Then, make this move. Unconsciously, he thought of Yu Jian He Xiao Yan. Bah! What the hell am I thinking about? Yejing hurriedly shook his head and threw away all the dirty thoughts in his mind. No. I can't think about it anymore. If I think about it, my personality will collapse. If I think about it again, I may have to 404. Seal, this passive skill, seal. Detect unknown emotional fluctuations, trigger meditation, and force calmness. I'm not tempted. Yejing's face darkened. This is just a normal fantasy of a normal virgin. Time is urgent. Continue. Time slowly slipped away. In a blink of an eye, 50 million energy, only the last 10 million left. And he didn't even see the abyss level passive skill. Could it be that this legendary abyss level passive does not exist? Shit furnace, you are not kidding me. Finally, there are 10 million energy left. If you don't give me something related to the abyss, you will be sealed in the future. Yejing looked at the furnace with a deep threat.